Greetings and a warm welcome. How are we all feeling at the moment? Today's topic is on what it means to be high functioning. And I get very disappointed when I hear that a procrastinator is high functioning, because that's impossible. You cannot be high functioning if you are putting things off, if you are stressing and doing nothing, and if you leave things for last. That is not productivity. That is not high functioning. You cannot be a high functioning procrastinator, but you can be a high functioning depressive. You can be a high functioning bipolar sufferer. It's possible. You can be high functioning and still struggle with your mental health, but you cannot be unproductive and high functioning at the same time, because high functioning still means that you stick to your routine, you fulfill your to-do list, all your tasks, responsibilities, even though you don't feel good inside. That is high functioning. And high functioning can be in many different illnesses. There are a lot of people who are high functioning. You get high functioning autism as well. So it's all about what you expose yourself to, how you focus on your learning, your growing, your experiencing, taking yourself out of the comfort zone. Because being high functioning, even when you are not doing well, keeps your life in balance, in check. It gives you that stability that keeps you moving forward, even though you feel like you want to crash. So what does it mean to be high functioning? To be high functioning, you have to be able to be productive in difficult times, especially in challenging times. That is what it means to be high functioning. That despite all the distress, despite all the anxiety, the depression, you are still moving forward. But you have to be productive in order to be high functioning. And it could be difficult for people who struggle with concentration. I know bipolar manics, they tend to struggle to finish a task at a time. So they get very energetic, and then they take on this task, and then they get halfway, then they start a new task, get a quarter way. And that is what makes it very difficult for them to be high functioning. But you can be high functioning and struggle with your mental health. I'll say it again, because it's all about keeping your life stable and yourself stable, so that things don't come crashing down and it doesn't become a mental health disaster. But also remember, high functioning doesn't mean that you are always productive. You also need rest, otherwise you are going to burn out. And if you procrastinate, you're going to find yourself less functional, less productive. Every time you make an excuse for not working on something, not doing something, not fulfilling duties, you reinforce that, and then it happens more and more and more and more, and your functioning decreases, and it keeps decreasing until all you do is procrastinate and stress yourself out, because you no longer have the amount of time that would be valuable to get the task done. But remember, functioning is not the same as achieving, because functioning is more about, are you sleeping well? Are you drinking water? Are you eating properly? Are you active throughout the day? Are you working? Are you fulfilling your household responsibilities? That's functioning, is the ability to keep your life together, yourself stable. Achieving is more about moving out of your comfort zone. When you take that high functioning up a notch and you start testing yourself and challenging yourself. Remember, if we are only functioning but not achieving, then we get stagnant, we get stuck. And then at the end of the day, that's going to make you less functional. You no longer have motivation, and you'll find yourself procrastinating all of the time. So functioning is not always the same as achieving. Achieving is going beyond and out there, and it's about setting goals and putting in action steps. And yes, if you set goals and you achieve them, you'll be more functional and you'll be more productive. But if you are coping to survive instead of coping to thrive, you're going to struggle with your functionality, and you're going to struggle to set and achieve goals. Remember, when it comes to being high functioning, it's about showing up every single day, on the days that you can't get out of bed, on the days that you don't want to eat, on the days that you haven't slept at all. But getting up, working on your routine, it brings in so much fulfillment, releases so much dopamine in the brain, that it's important that you keep fulfilling your duties. Because if you do that and you force yourself to show up every day, then you might be able to expand beyond that. And as I said, be careful not to burn out, because people who suffer with energy issues, people who are very high energy, people with attention deficit hyperactive disorder as well, lots of busyness, lots of energy, and they want to take on this task, this task, this task, this task, and they don't want to stop until like 3 o'clock in the morning, and by then they burnt themselves out. So the next day they can't fulfill any responsibilities, they can't look after their health, because they've pushed themselves beyond the point of what is humanly possible. Remember, you need to prioritize yourself first and foremost in order for you to be able to function in a constructive way. If you do not put your health first, your routine, all the things you need to do to keep yourself healthy and well, then you are not going to be able to function in the future. And it's also despite depression. Yes, depression makes it very difficult to get out of bed and shower and eat, and you don't feel motivated. You feel like there's a hole in your life, you feel a void, you feel empty, you feel numb. Granted, but functioning is despite that. And yes, it's possible. And it's despite depression, despite mental health issues. It's about getting the right treatment and following a good routine, because that is what's going to keep you stable. That's what's going to keep your life in balance. And at the end of the day, it's all about working towards a goal. Because if you create a goal, you're going to want to pursue more growth, and you'll become even stronger, more resilient, more functional. And then you need to eventually establish a vision in order for you to stay motivated, to keep working on yourself, on your life, on your every area of your life. And that's the amazing thing about creating a vision, is that it keeps you grounded in your journey. And it's also to be able to function healthily, eating regular meals, drinking water regularly, taking responsibility for your health and your well-being. It's about implementing balance, because without balance, we become dysregulated and we start to struggle with our health and our mental health. It's all about coping in a healthy way. Even when things are tough, remember to give yourself time to relax, do things you enjoy, and always have a time allocated for every task. And make sure that you do one thing at a time, because we are not robots. And we can't multitask brilliantly either, because we are imperfect. So remember, functionality, routine first, goals, vision next. So remember, you are unique and valuable. Take care of that stunning person. Stay strong wherever you're from. You are worthy.